Me and my partner's birthdays are exactly 2 weeks apart, and wherever possible we always try and do a joint celebration where we go away for the weekend, and it being during the winter months, well, who can blame us? So I've been thinking about what we could take and where we could go. We've done the Land Rover Defender to Norfolk, we've done the Land Cruiser up to Whitby, and we've done the Range Rover Sport to the Cotswolds. So this time we wanted to go in something a little different. As I've said before, I'm not a great lover of estates, and a sports car with this one in the back was never going to be an option. No. So it had to be luxurious, comfortable, practical for long journeys, and something a little unexpected.
After a few emails back and forth, Lexus sent us something. I wanted my missus to try and guess what it was.
Do you like it, Gabby?
Yeah. Can't say it.
Okay, now you
is
can
there
take the
lots of
blindfold
room
off.
in here?
Yeah!
I feel like I'm in an aeroplane.
So what do you think it is?
I don't know. I have no idea. It's obviously not Mercedes because it would be a lot more obvious. Okay.
We've got a fridge here for our birthday tipple later.
Nice. It's a nice brand.
It's a Lexus.
Oh, I mean, this is just so cool.
Isn't it?
So a great weekend in January. A Lexus with Omotenashi hospitality taking the brand to new heights in the UK. With large airline-style seats that can fully recline horizontally, a 48-inch HD ultra widescreen monitor, a fridge, and a multifunction smartphone-style controller to adjust the cabin environment, it was ready for the road trip ahead.
My God, this weather! So here we are in something quite van-esque. Regardless, I'm smothered in luxury, and there's plenty of tech to sink my teeth into, and yet I can't seem to shake this lingering question that I have hanging over me ever since I took delivery of this car, which is that why haven't Mercedes ever built anything like this? We know the V-Class chassis exists, which if you squint you could easily mistake this for, at least in silhouette. We know that they're responsible for building cars such as the SL Maybach, which is hugely niche. So where's our V-Class Maybach? Come on Mercedes, the best or nothing and all that. This is the LM luxury mover, and like the V-Class it's also available as a 7-seater, but given the context of this weekend there was only one variant that I hoped and prayed Lexus would have on their fleet, the 4-seater, and as fate would have it, here it is. We are being propelled by a 2.5 litre 4-cylinder engine developing 247 brake horsepower. The power is fed to all 4 wheels, with this being the all-wheel drive variant. In the 7-seater version you can opt for a front-wheel drive only to save a few pretty pennies. The LM measures in at 5.1 metres in length and 1.9 metres in width, and as you would imagine, a majority of that space is found behind me, the captain of this mini land yacht. So to 62 miles an hour comes up in 9.1 seconds if you're in the front wheel drive model, and 8.7 seconds if you're in the all-wheel drive model like the one we're in today. But needless to say, this car isn't about performance, it's about luxury and comfort. It's tasked with providing well-being for its occupants both physically and emotionally. Lexus say it's about making luxury personal, but we'll find out more about that in just a few moments as I'm eager to try out that 48-inch HD TV. Let me first take you through the cockpit before we get to the main event back there. What's on offer for the chauffeur? First of all, there's an instant feel of class and luxury in here. Just take a look at some of the attention to detail and some of the material. There's leather, there's some stitching, there's suede, and there's some wood finishes. There is craftsmanship. There's a nice balance between minimalistic as well as lots to explore. It kind of reminds me of the interiors that we got in the Mercedes of yesteryear. It's not an interior just based around a massive touchscreen. I mean, this does have a 14-inch screen, but it's integrated well with the rest of the elements in the cabin. Lexus have also made a point of including some physical controls for the HVAC system, as well as your media controls, i.e. the volume knob and some of the buttons on the steering wheel. Lexus have also made a point of making the driver feel at one with the car by including everything that they are likely to use, not only at arm's reach away, but intuitive and easy to find. Take for instance the buttons that we have on the overhead console just up here. I can control the side shades, the roof shades, as well as open and close not only the sliding doors but the boot from up here, as well as a few buttons down here. My rear view camera doubles as a camera, so I can see what's going on behind me even when the partition wall is up and in its opaque state, if you can see that. See, opaque, clear, opaque, clear. Pretty cool. I have lots of storage not only under my armrest here with a 12-volt socket, a USB Type-C port, as well as a HDMI port, but if I do have a passenger, they can also open this unit that way as well, which is quite clever. There's a little bit of room in the door pockets just here. I've got 2 cup holders, I've got Apple CarPlay, I've got heated steering wheel as well as heated and ventilated seat, so the driver is well catered for, to say the least. From the outside, it kind of reminds me of a transformer. It certainly has a face of one anyway. There's lots of chrome, lots of dynamic straight lines, which give it a more of a aggressive look than it is a subtle and perhaps a elegant one. There's also a lot of glass, which is great for visibility and also for letting in a lot of light, but there's more to it than that, and we're going to cover that in just a few moments. This one is finished off in Sonic titanium, or at least it was when it arrived. Now there's a bit more of a brown influence. The 19-inch wheels come as standard, and Lexus say that the boot is big enough to fit 2 77cm suitcases, or in the case of us, just stuff. We are about an hour into our commute up toward East Anglia, and it's a part of the world which we absolutely adore. There's lots of nature, there's beautiful scenery, and lots of space for our little one to go exploring. And as for the adults, well, it's got its fair share of pubs too. As we head into February in typical British fashion, it's still quite dark, cold, and very wet. So this part of the world makes us feel really nice and cozy. Just like the LM is currently doing. My heated seats are on, my heated steering wheel is on. I'm sure Alicia back there is having a massage, and I'm in complete comfort. I have my adaptive cruise control set, so I'm tracking the car in front, and all there is left for me to do is relax. How are we doing back there, guys?
Good.
Are you having a massage?
I am. It's very enjoyable. Thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, they really ought to have 0 complaints. What a way to travel. That is business class flight level of comfort. Welcome to the rear of the LM. You find me on one of 2 of the most expensive seats in the house. Back here we have 2 fully reclining, leather massaging, ventilated and heated seats, which for the first time in the Lexus, the heated functionality not only extends to the armrests, but to the leg ottomans also. I have storage under my armrest here, which can open one of 2 ways, like so. In here you'll find 2 USB Type-C ports, 2 HDMI ports, and a domestic socket. Under my right arm here, we have our tray table, as well as a cup holder. Let's extend my ottoman leg rest. Lovely. I also have a little bit of storage just under here, as well as down here. I have a fully functioning fridge just over here. Can't forget a fully illuminating vanity mirror. Something which I discovered recently, over here there's a pocket of space. Here you'll find a wireless charge pad and 2 additional Type-C ports, and the same goes for the passenger on the left too. Up ahead is my 48-inch television, and from the remote controls just down here I can control things like the audio, the climate control, lights, sunshade, as well as 7 different massaging programs. All the controls to my fully reclining seats are down here, where I can set the heating as well as the ventilation. Up on the roof here I've got a shade for my skylight, and how's this for attention to detail? The headrests are made of 2 vibration absorbing materials. The sun blinds go from top to bottom, so if the sun comes out and it's going into your eyes, you can lower it just so you can still maintain a line of sight to the outside world. Going back to a topic I touched on earlier about Lexus using a lot of glass, that was to prevent passengers from getting motion sickness whilst watching TV. Lexus installed windows as large as possible so everyone on board has a perception of direction. Clever stuff. Let's get back on the road.
3 hours later, we pulled into our residence for the next 2 days. The Harper Hotel on the coastal town of Blakeney. Like most coastal towns in the UK, we had a variety of fish and chip shops, cafes, great pubs, and the majority of the places we visited were family owned. What you don't find here is a lot of chains and corporate businesses. Things feel more intentional, slow, thought out, and welcoming.
And that's kind of how the Lexus feels. In the luxury realm, names such as Rolls-Royce, Bentley and Maybach are the ones that get all the spotlight, and rightly so. Some of the attention to detail and the engineering behind those cars are second to none. It feels like Lexus have taken a new route with the LM, a route not frequently explored. And sure, it doesn't ride on trick air suspension or have the prestige of the flying spur or the spirit of ecstasy, but they've understood the assignment. The cabin has active noise control, the climate concierge adds microscopic water particles to the airflow, which can inhibit viruses and bacteria, and for people who suffer with hay fever, this is amazing. Seats you can sleep on, skylights, partition wall, massaging seats, tables, and it's all weather capable and has decent amount of boot space for weekend getaways. So I guess it doesn't need diamond encrusted headlights, hand-drawn coach lines or leather from the skin of the cows that live in the highest mountains in Switzerland. Anyway, we're gonna catch up on some sleep and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.
This model costs a little over £117,000. I've never known a Lexus to cost quite so much. I don't condone it, but I understand. Let me explain.
Now, the luxury and the attention to detail, which we alluded to earlier aside, the other aspect to Lexus is that they're not trying to sell 30,000 LMs. They'd probably be happy with a few hundred. And that's because they're not trying to obtain a larger market share. They're not interested in that. They're more focused on customer experience. They want to provide the best possible customer and ownership experience. So whether you're a chauffeur or a business person, or you just really want to treat your family to the best and most luxurious way of traveling by car across the country or countries, the Lexus has you covered. Bespoke builds aside, it's one of a kind. When I say one of a kind, what I mean is on the assumption that you don't want to spend almost twice as much on something that's V8 powered, rides on air suspension, and is considered a luxury SUV in the shape of a GLS Maybach, then yes, this is one of a kind. Living with this car for the past few days has been a treat overall. And sometimes it's the little things. For example, the 360 camera is probably one of the best I've seen. From the clarity of the footage to how seamlessly it works when you're trying to maneuver in tight spaces. The feel of the steering wheel, the nice materials, the tactile buttons, the space that you have in here, the placement of the coffee cups, the controls, and it's like being in a state-of-the-art office on wheels.
The weekend was slowly drawing to an end, and the LM felt like a mobile home. We spent many hours in it exploring the coast of Blakeney, we had a swim, spent some time fishing for crabs, enjoying pub grub, and taking in the nature. However, it was time to head home.
When it comes to some of the not so good stuff, the list really isn't huge, but there are a few little bits, but I'm going to keep this brief because it's getting quite dark and I'm losing light. The first thing is this. The engine doesn't always feel the most refined, especially when you're trying to put some power down. And that's pretty much what the performance has felt, looked and sounded like. The almost 10-second 0 to 62 mile/hour sprint time feels every bit as long. So I think it's safe to say speed isn't one of LM's strength, and dovetailing from that, it's very difficult to do anything quickly in this car. For instance, when the doors on the sides are sliding shut, I can't lock the doors. I have to wait for the doors to shut and then I can lock the car. And it's pretty much the same story when I'm trying to open the doors as well. The buttons on the keys will not open the doors unless I unlock the car first, which just, it feels counterintuitive. Why put the buttons there if I have to then unlock the car first to then open the sliding doors? And this car really likes to beep a lot. It beeps when you lock and unlock the doors, it beeps when you're closing and opening the doors, it beeps when you close and open the boot, it beeps when the speed limit changes, it beeps when the speed limit is breached, it beeps when there's someone coming from your right, from your rear, from your left, and it also beeps if it thinks your eyes are off the road for too long because it's got this silly ice face kind of thing, which I first experienced in the Land Cruiser, but that's going to be in more and more cars, so brace yourself. It's another mandated safety system. Whilst the performance is a little underwhelming, I am getting almost 40 to the gallon, which is quite impressive for a car of this size. Personally, I found it relatively easy to summarize this car, to tell you guys what it's been like, and to discuss some of its strengths and its weaknesses. What's not been so straightforward is trying to decide who this car's actually for. Now, Lexus say that the LM is targeted towards chauffeurs, which makes perfect sense. But can it hold a candle up against some of the biggest players in the industry? And the short answer is, well, yes, of course it can. It has all the right features and it offers all the right things, but it's not that straightforward. See, many years ago, there once was a car called the Volkswagen Phaeton. That car was produced and entered into an industry where there was an oligopoly made up of the Mercedes S-Class, the BMW 7 Series and the Audi A8. In the industry of luxury travel, those were the dominant players. That's what VIP clients wanted, and that's what chauffeurs preferred to drive. Consequently, the Phaeton failed catastrophically, but not because it was a bad car. Well, just think about it. As a client, you would have had to turn down a Mercedes, an Audi, as well as a BMW before finally settling on a Volkswagen, which, as you can imagine, was unlikely to happen. And for me, in many ways, the LM is likely to experience a similar fate, although I still feel that the LM still offers more and is something quite different to what's out there, so I still think it has a bit of a unique edge. The LM will still require a lot of upselling. You'd have to tell your clients what it is and what it has and what it can do, and I feel like that might get a bit tiresome. To knock the likes of a Mercedes S-Class, for instance, off their pedestal, it might be a bit of a tall order. So the LM has got a lot of work to do to try and disrupt that status quo. But perhaps then the LM isn't a luxury mover per se, maybe it's more of a lifestyle mobile. If you can afford it and 4 seats are enough, go and drive this across the country, go and drive it across continents. It averages almost 40 miles to the gallon, it has all the luxury, all the features that you could ever want to make your journey more enjoyable.
So if it's good enough for Simon Cowell, it's good enough for most. If private jets are a stretch too far, Lexus might be able to help.